Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us once again in our continuous journey that started in March 2020 when the whole scenario exploded. And here we are now in 2022. So, wishing everyone a prosperous transition into 2022. May it be full of health, wealth, flourishing, and most importantly, a year in which humanity comes together beyond the artificial divisions that we are all being thrown into. So, where do we want to begin? Well, winter months are going to become increasingly confusing and difficult, and of course, we've seen the whole situation with shall you celebrate New Year? You can't celebrate New Year. Yes, you can go to pubs. No, you can't go to pubs. The whole confusion has just added to yet more division, more absurdity. And as anticipated, we will begin, and we are starting to see now the cracks begin to appear throughout the narrative. And the narrative that has been used as a cloak on humanity in order for humanity to partake in an experimental therapy or intervention. Much of this is coming forward now. And you will have seen how all of a sudden we have advertisements by the likes of the Health Foundation normalizing heart attacks in children, normalizing heart attacks in footballers, normalizing heart attacks in just any young individual in everyday life. Where were these heart attacks 3 years ago? The question is now, as we begin to open our eyes and see what truly has happened and is happening, the magnitude and the gravity of the situation will dawn on many people in the normal world. And that's where we're heading now. We're heading to a shift in sudden circumstances and events that will simply shatter the remaining believers of this narrative. And as the emergence of the effects of having taken part in this experiment become more and more evident, more and more individuals will find it difficult to cope. We are brought in this process, we are being brought into this process of balance, which we have been suggesting for the last 2 years. And the balance really will be restored by about 24, 25, if you anticipate the way things are moving right now. So we have another year of challenges, and you've got to congratulate yourself that each one of us faced many challenges last year. And during that time, you endured the abuse, you endured the ostracization, you endured the ridicule, the people ridiculing your worldview, your way of thinking, and the aggression and the anger and the divisions. And you all endured them. We all endured them. And in enduring that, you came across many barriers which allowed you to develop emotionally, intellectually, physically, taking more interest in your own health, that responsibility of your own health, supplementing your body with the resources that it needs. For example, with vitamin D, with vitamin C, with K2, with chaga mushrooms, all these supplements simply to take responsibility of our health. Why? because the system and the biomedical worldview is failing before us. If you can't see it, you will certainly know it within the next 2 years. But it is now failing and falling before our very eyes. So, in this process and transition that we are going through, there are many other events that are yet to take place over and above these manufactured events. So, there are manufactured events and there are organic events. And why is this happening? This is simply happening because we are coming to from one cycle into another. And through any cycle, as you transist, as a transition happens, there's a transformation. That transformation requires the breakdown of the old and the reconstruction of the new. And that's the process we're going through. So, what can we allow ourselves to recognize such that we can navigate through this, that we can go through this process without enduring unnecessary suffering? Well, suffering is increasing, has been increasing, and will continue to increase. Suffering is basically when things are not the way we want them to be, or we resist what is already we are facing. So, acceptance. So, last month we were looking at this word of acceptance, surrender, and flow. Now, acceptance does not mean you condone the actions. Acceptance means that which you cannot control, allowing it to unfold as it needs to unfold. Acceptance means accepting how you feel in the shift and the changes, the impact on your sense of self, the impact on your relationships, particularly where you have relationships where some have taken one path and others have taken another path. So, all of these challenges, all of these situations have allowed us, all of us, to experience suffering and through the suffering, experience our growth. And through that growth, we are now being initiated. We have now, that has been, so you will know that in almost every pure culture that hasn't been adulterated with colonization, that hasn't been adulterated with materialism, that hasn't been adulterated with science. Let's follow the science, but that which encompasses the science and beyond that which can be understood by the mere mind. So, within those cultures, we find that there is always a process of initiation. There's always a process of going through, it's the eye of the needle, as we know through our kind of biblical space. So, this initiation, some of it has been commercialized in other ways, but this isn't the real initiation. The true initiation always resides with those that have the integrity of their worldview and culture that is traditionally preserved and hasn't been adulterated. That's the crux, hasn't been adulterated. So, um, in this initiation, we have to perform something. So, for example, in the tradition of the Nahans, one of the initiation is to fight a boar and to bring the tooth of the boar. And that gives you the confidence that you are strong enough to be part of this mystical warrior tradition. Um, there are others where you take baptism is another type of initiation that you have within the Christian worldview, circumcision, etc., etc. These are religious ones. Here I'm talking about initiations into the secret schools, into the mystery schools. And this mystery school is what we are now waking up to. We have been initiated unknowingly, unknowingly, have gone through that because every initiation is an endurance test. And an endurance test only where you are the judge whether you failed or you passed. And in this, many people stood their truth, stood in their truth, and propagated their truth, and endured all that needed to be endured simply to go through this initiation. And here we are. So 2022, the year of the collapse, the year of the deconstruction, the year of um, the mass tidal wave of shift and change. And 2 years from today, when we look back, we will think, did we really live the way we live today? Um, a year in which governments will be the power politics between governments and the governed begin to significantly become different and change, and the authority changes, where now it is your truth that becomes your authority. It is no longer the guys who have been given the titles, the guys who have been wearing the white coats, the guys who feel that because they have the word doctor in front of them, that they have been schooled in a particular materialistic worldview, are there to tell you what the truth is. That is old. That is old hat. That's like the Victorian age. It's of no concern. Think of it as a pass off. Think of it as something that has fulfilled its days. And you will see this. You will see this over the next few months and weeks, how there is this desperation to try and hold on to the narrative that there's this variant, to the narrative that you need to have this kind of booster or that kind of booster or whatever you need to do. It maybe get to the point where you have to have one every week simply to survive. And this fear that we are being oh no, I would say this fear that is being propagated, uh, and those who are in that necessarily can't see that, and we can't necessarily take a position of um, dismissing it. So, through critical thinking, we look at the language, we realize that language has been emotionally charged in order to invoke a particular emotion. And that anti this and anti that, where divisions are concerned, it is anger. And the whole process is managed between these two emotions, anger on one side and fear on the other. So, in fear, when you bring fear, then the natural process of the human ego, which is default self preservation, will always go to security. And if you offer the security and the language around the security, then most people will, without thinking, go towards the security. And this is what the game was. However, many individuals have had the blessing of being able to see things for themselves, realize things to be what they are, and most importantly, able to sit in their truth in their own space and know what's right for them, and making a choice accordingly on that. And having made that choice has then brought us into this new awareness of what you're capable of doing, an awareness in which you have um, proven to yourself and others. So it's now the self image that we have, we are based, our identity is based on, is our experience, and the experience of having gone through the challenges, addressing them, having gone through this process of initiation and coming through this new space of new awareness, which is how we engage in the next 12 months. So, this world that we are living in now begins to start changing its definitions. The boundaries become a little bit more diffused, and the world takes a quality of mystery, a quality of awe, a quality of um, gratitude, a quality of humility. And this humility is generated as a byproduct. It's not that you become humble, it's a generation of byproduct when you realize that ultimately, in your moment of desperation, who will you turn to? What will you hold on to? Will it be your vaccination? Will it be your politicians? Will it be your priests? Will it be your saviors? Who will you hold on to? What will you hold on to? And this is the ultimate recognition that there is nothing to hold on to apart from the self. And here we speak of not the self as the ego, but that sense of stillness, silence that we cultivate through our meditation, which allows us to know the presence that we are. And only through this undercognition and practice will we be able to generate and cultivate an innate trust to remain on the path of your truth, in the path in which you are able to critically think. And through that, we take those actions which are now actions which allow us which allow us to build, to be constructive, and not to hold on to that which is dying. And all that we have known is dying or dead, and no point in holding on to it. Allow the change, embrace the change, but allow yourself to direct the change and ensure that you are not being directed by those that have their own interests at heart. So we are coming to this third stage, from actualization to realization, now to sovereignty. That standing in your truth, that discovering the strength, allowing yourself to be empowered through that strength is now what we engage to 2022 with. And through that energy, the transformation, here the trust takes a different dimension, because it's not just trusting yourself, but knowing that the universe always favors that which brings balance and that which is right. Samasati, correct mindfulness, healthy meditation, yeah, samadristi, healthy, appropriate, um, defined understanding of reality, empowerment, and recognition that you are looked after, you always have been looked after, you always will be looked after. But to know that, you have to allow yourself to let go of all that you're holding. And the easiest way to experience that is through meditation. So, we will go through our meditation today, and so we'll begin the year with a coherence. Yeah. So a little bit of meditation, a little bit of awareness, but more importantly, about bringing ourselves to a point in which we want to look at our regulation. Uh, um, I'm going to introduce to you a meditation which is based on the heart coherence meditation. And so this meditation is very simple. It's synchronizing the breath with the heart, right? Synchronizing the breath with the heart. And there's a process to it. So the process is very simple. The process we go through is a short body scan, become aware of our breath, and then we slow our breath twice. Not once, but twice. And normally you can do this within about 5-10 minutes. And then there are 4 statements that we repeat within ourselves. And the first statement is, I choose to regulate. The second statement is, I choose to self-regulate. The third statement is, I choose deep healing. And the fourth statement is, I choose sort of go with it. And if you were to do this simple meditation, maybe 10-15 days, you will find that it has a profound impact, not just in our physiological indicators, blood pressure, heart rate, all that kind of stuff starting to balance, but more importantly, our emotional, mental state, but the electromagnetic state, right? So I read an article a couple of days ago that said that an average heart emits a certain amount of energy. Let's call it 10, a unit of 10. And through heart coherence, you can increase that to 100,000. And how do you know there's this energy? Because when you sit with people who have this energy, you feel a sense of peace around them. You feel a sense of tranquility around them. And sometimes you even experience moments in which the mind begins quite still, not just emotionally, but the mental traffic begins to still itself. So that's a direct impact of recognizing the impact of this electromagnetic field that we can significantly increase through this heart coherence. But this, we're also reprogramming our subconscious space as well. Okay. So, as usual, your eyes are closed, your mouth is closed, unless you can't breathe in through your nose, in which case you can have your mouth open. You straighten your back, pull your shoulders back so your chest feels a bit open. Make sure that the shoulders are not hunched, and one good way is to hunch them and allow them to drop. And relax your thighs if you can. Yeah. And if you're sitting on a chair or the floor, recognize the fact that you are held in that place, right? So, in other words, if you were to completely let go, you're not going to go anywhere. So, I'm upright, but my body is relaxed. I draw a slow, deep breath in, bringing my focus to the body itself. Start to notice, just sense the body as a whole. And as you do that, you may begin to notice that there are sensations within the body that are a bit dominant. They can be uncomfortable, so they can be like a pain or an ache, a tightness, an itch, or they can just be a level of discomfort. And all you need to do is if there's anything that's dominant within your body at this stage. Okay. Now, on your next breath in, I'd like you to bring your focus as best as you can to the seat you're on. Begin to notice how we are held in place. We begin to notice and recognize that the ground beneath us is the only ground that can hold us at this moment. In other words, we can't be anywhere else. And the space around you that holds the air, that holds the temperature, that holds all the smells, the odors, the fragrances, only space hold you at this moment. In other words, you can only be where you are. Your mind you can take anywhere, but recognizing physically the space that encompasses you, holds the ground beneath you. Next breath in, you bring your focus to where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting on. And you begin to notice that there are sensations within your body where your body makes contact with the floor or the seat. And then allow this awareness to move up towards your hips. Allow this awareness to move down your thighs. Take your time, your opportunity to scan your body. to notice exactly what's going on. Look at your knees, behind your knees. And if you can, slowly moving your awareness down your legs towards your ankles, becoming aware of your feet, and then becoming aware of the soles of your feet as best as you can. Again, all you're looking for is any sensation that's dominant. Just notice it. Don't need to have a dialogue about it or judge it. Just notice. Come back to the seat you're on. And then notice that your back is straight and upright. As you breathe in, bring your focus up from your lower back towards your middle back. Again, you're always looking for sensations. Up towards your shoulder blades, and then finally coming to your shoulders. When you're at your shoulders, see if you can bring your focus towards your neck. Allow this awareness to now move from your shoulders down towards your elbows. From your elbows, we move gently to your wrists, becoming aware of our palms, becoming aware of our fingers, and then gently bring your focus towards your eyes. Notice the dark. Recognize that you have awareness of this darkness. In other words, you are this awareness of this darkness. Awareness. Allow your awareness now to move towards the back of your head. And then as you breathe out, allow your eyes to soften and relax. On your next breath in, bringing your focus to your tongue. As you breathe out, allow your tongue to soften and your face to relax. On your next breath in, bringing your focus to yourself once again as a body. Again, just notice the body. Notice if there's anything dominant in it. On your next breath in, bring your focus to your inner space. And by that we mean the way you're feeling and the thoughts, etc., we have within the mental space. So bring your focus towards your mind, your thoughts. Are there any thoughts there right now? What has been your story today? What conversations have you been having with yourself today? How does the mental space feel? Does it feel stressed, tired, fatigued, relaxed, calm? Next breath in, bring your focus to your chest. Hold your awareness at the chest. And you begin to notice that the chest moves in rhythm with the breath. The movements may be very subtle, there are also sensations around the body as well. These too are very subtle. See if you can notice the movement of your chest and if there's any sensations that accompany that. See if you can move your awareness a bit deeper into yourself. So, like you're absolutely in the middle of yourself, center of your chest. That space, see if you can recognize how you feel right now. Are you comfortable? Are you uncomfortable? Are you settled? Are you unsettled? And on your next breath out, open your awareness to all the sounds around you. Every sound to simply come towards you. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to comment on it. Simply listening. When you're ready, bring your focus just beneath your nose and begin to notice your breath. Watching the in-breath moving in, watching the out-breath moving out. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Stay with your breath. All you need to do is simply watch the in-breath coming in and the out-breath going out. Rhythmic breathing. And we continue this breathing for about 2 minutes. Allowing it to settle, allowing it to find its own pace. Once we find that the breath has calmed down, seems to be evenly flowing, gently bring your palm across your chest, placing it in the middle of the chest. Right hand for women first, left hand for men first. Placing your hands across your chest, palms flat, creating this circuit between the heart, breath, the meridian channels, stay with the breath, the center of your chest. And now move your focus where the palm makes contact with your chest. Notice the pressure of the palm against the chest. Imagine that the breath itself is flowing from right in the center of your chest. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Simply this part of the exercise is powerful enough to bring our hearts into some variability. Noticing the breath, and now if you can, see if you can slow your breath down a bit. So all we do is we just slow our breath back so slightly. So now it takes a little bit longer for the in-breath to come in and a little bit longer for the out-breath to go out. So remember, we've just slowed the breath down slightly. And we maintain this speed of the breath, minute to 2 minutes. Of course, the longer the better. Your focus is on your breath, and you've slowed the breath down a bit. So as you focus on your chest, as the breath comes in, you simply say these words to yourself. I choose to regulate. I choose to regulate. So you're saying this mentally as the breath comes in. And now we move to the next phrase. I choose to self-regulate. Moving to the third phrase, I choose deep healing. And then moving to the last, I choose deep intuition. And now, if you can, just slow your breath down one more time, drawing the breath in as slowly as you can, allowing the breath to escape as slowly as you can. Sending signals to your body, nervous system, allowing the whole system to rebalance itself. Your endocrine system, your hormonal system, breathing in as slowly as you can, breathing out as slowly as you can. And when you feel that there's hardly any breath coming in or out, that's your signal to bring someone or something to your mind that you feel love for. Could be a child, could be a partner, could be a pet. Something that you're grateful for. Something that makes you feel good about yourself. And as we bring this memory, this picture, this image to our mind of someone that invokes love, compassion, gratitude, appreciation, we begin to notice that there's a warmth, there's a shift that takes place around the chest. And it may be very subtle, but the more you bring your focus to that which brings a feeling of love, warmth, appreciation within yourself, you will find that this energy begins to become more prominent. When you discover that there's been a shift in this energy around your chest, there's a different sensation, you slowly take a deep breath in. You hold that breath and then release. Allow your breath to breathing. Bring your focus just beneath your nose. Sit with your breath. You can either keep your hands where they are or move them down. Whatever's comfortable for you. But stay with your breath. Shifting your focus on your outer breath. Following your breath all the And as you get to the end, you notice that there's a tiny gap at the end of your out breath before the in breath begins. See how long that gap lasts. Bring your focus now to the sound of your breath. Try and listen to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out. And on your next breath out, opening your awareness to all the sounds that are around you. Listening. Follow the sound of this bell and let us all meet in the silence at the end. Notice the silence, the silence we all share, the silence that brings us to oneness, the silence that dissolves all barriers, the silence that is so safe and still. When you're ready, gently bring your focus just beneath your nose and begin to watch your breath. On your next breath out, becoming aware of your body as best as you can. Notice how still the body feels. Notice you're still where you began. You have contact with your seat. You can sense the sensations where your body makes contact with the chair or the floor you're on. Become aware of your thighs, moving down to your legs. Notice the feet. And notice the soles of your feet. You may even want to wriggle your toes. Bring your focus back to the seat. Notice that the back is straight. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Eyes are still closed, mouth is still closed, and the face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now, as the breath comes in, we become aware of the body. As the breath goes out, we become aware of the body. Breathing in, I can sense my body. Breathing out, I can sense my body. Breathing in, I feel peace. Breathing out, I feel peace. Slowly becoming aware of the body as best as you can. When you inhale, use this bell to draw a slow, deep breath in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes, taking a few deep breaths in to bring yourself back into this room.